everyone, welcome to Red Carpet with me, Laila Khalid. Our guest for today is someone whose strong responsibilities engagement within our communities, local authorities, employers and media. Let's meet our outstanding guest for today, Warrant Officer Mr. Ashok Chauhan. Thank you so much for joining me at my show today. I am so delighted to have you on my show. I know it's been a long time because I was trying to make an appointment with you and then it was like some cancellation or maybe the weather crisis. Anyway, tell me about yourself.
Well, my name is Warrant Officer Ashok Chauhan, MBE, and I was born in Kenya. I live in the beautiful city of Slough. And from school, I joined the army straight away because all I wanted to do was play sport and travel the world.
So when you talk about that from school you joined the army, there must be a story behind it. How did you join the army?
I joined because as one day as I was walking along the high street, I saw these beautiful pictures of sport, and in them days Cassius Clay, then Muhammad Ali was my idol. So I looked at these pictures and I thought, that's it, I want to see the world and I want to box. So I joined the army to box and see the world, and the rest is history.
When we talk about joining the army and you wanted to see the world, I understand that during your commanded duties with military, you traveled different countries, which include New Zealand, USA, Egypt, China, and maybe the list goes on. How was your experience with that?
It was second to none, because that is all I want to do. And all these countries that I've been to is purely to play hockey, squash or cricket. So I got around the world playing sport, and and that sort of fulfilled my ambition of seeing the world. And obviously I've been to other parts of the conflicts, but that is part of my job. But to be a sportsman is very important there because it brings you together. So nobody looks at you, they look at you as a team player.
Being in army, you must have a very good training to be fit. Do you have to train a lot?
Fitness is an individual thing. There is a certain standard that you're required to join the army. Thereafter, it is up to you to maintain the fitness. We have fitness sessions every day. So PT in the army, physical training, we have that every morning. So depending where you are, there's fitness that happens every day. And looking at myself, every Wednesday used to be sports afternoon in the army. So respectively, Wednesday afternoon is sports afternoon, so everybody goes and plays sports.
Being a military officer is such a huge responsibility. And I understand Army has been there for us, flooding, especially in COVID, because you guys were so kind and so responsive towards us. During COVID, people were lonely, people were isolated from their loved one, people were going through depression. No one was there to talk to them, to help them, but Army was there. How was your experience with that?
Well, when I say the army, remember it was the armed forces. You can't forget the other two services, even though I'm in the army. But the experience was second to none. But just seeing, the thing that makes it important is when you see people smiling, doing a good job, during COVID, taking food to people's homes, during floodings, firemen strike. So we're always there to help the communities. Remember, that is our job, to serve the community, because the communities are very important to us. So doing things like that and makes you feel so happy and proud that you're doing something for other people than yourself.
I spent a little bit time with you, and when you were in your uniform, and I hear people are saying, thank you so much, sir, for your services. How do you feel when people say thank you to you?
Well, to be honest with you, it's more of an American thing. But when you see these people, you really feel deep inside that, they appreciate what the services we do, and it makes you feel proud. I mean, I just love wearing my uniform. By just wearing my uniform makes me so happy. And it's obviously to make sure people realize that it is a career. And when you see people saying thank you on the train, they say, do you want to sit down? Some of them are most probably younger than me, but they say, do you want to sit down, or even older? But it's the thought that counts, and that is the most important thing. And they're realizing the service we do.
It's such a good respect. I mean, they give you respect of all the work you guys have done. How is your life at home? Because I know being in the armed forces and military, you're always busy and you have to be in different countries, helping other people, and probably just looking after the situation. How does your family feel about it if your wife doesn't see you for such a long time? Do you ever feel like low mood, sad?
No, I mean, obviously I love my family, but at the end of the day, when I leave home, whatever I'm doing becomes my family. So when I was deployed in other parts of the world, they become my family because you haven't got time to think about your family. What I mean by that is, because if you're worried about thinking about your family, then you're not concentrating on your work. And at the end of the day, you know, with the blessings of above, my family are truly blessed, you know, with everything. So like when I was away in Afghanistan for 1 year, 12 days, you know, my family, I knew they were safe. I could talk to them. But remember, I'm doing a job, so the others, the Afghan, became my family. And they really, you know, seeing these young children smiling, you know, for Eid, giving them Eidis, and that makes you feel proud to be British.
It's so nice. I mean, I understand that it's a lot for you to say that when you help someone, looking at their smile just makes you so happy. And I know it's such a good feeling. When we talk about your military work, and do you face any challenges or have you faced any challenge in your life during this time?
When I was a young boy, I'm not going to lie to you, I had loads of racism, but I've been never hit or bullied. But then what I did was, whenever somebody said something to me, I just did it, and I didn't, you know, didn't play anything, just took it, and not being funny, but people love me because I didn't, you know, it was like testing you. But, you know, the army is one big happy family. There we have our ups and downs, but they were a family. And I've had loads of racism, but never, like I said, never been hit or bullied. And once they get to know you, you're part of the family. And playing a sport is even better because you're part of that family and everybody forgets who you are, because at the end of the day, it's about being part of a team. You know, when I joined, it was tough. You know, I don't smoke, I don't drink. And, you know, in training, I miss my parents because, you know, in Woolwich, I did my training and it was really, really tough. You know, getting up in the morning, doing my kit where everything was done by my mother, you know, by my late mother. But now, everything is done by me and I'm very, very rigid when it comes to my uniform. So life in general was very tough to start off with. But then once you started playing sport and the first time I went in a boxing ring, everybody knew who I was and things started because I became part of the family.
Boxing. I was about to ask you about this one. How did you become a boxer?
Well, obviously when I mentioned Muhammad Ali, then Cassius Clay was my idol. And I loved boxing because I thought, you know, it's a fit sport and you have to be pretty fit. And so when I went to in Woolwich, where I did my training, I boxed. And then when I got to Germany, I managed to box quite a lot till a certain age, and then obviously with promotion and then I stopped. But I boxed in Holland, I boxed in Germany, and I boxed in the UK. So I fulfilled one of my ambitions there. And God knows if I'd stayed in England, I most probably would have been a professional boxer.
Oh wow, can you imagine that you are boxing in the ring? I would be supporting you. I mean, as a friend, I would be there. Mr. Ashok, go ahead, come on. Anyway, so when we talk about boxing, sports, and military duties, in military, what are the basic requirements? And also it includes the diet.
Okay, obviously the basic requirement, there is a test everybody has to apply, go through. There are two types of entries. There's officer entry and soldier. Soldier is 14 weeks, officer is 11 months training. So the basic requirement is you have to do, you don't have to be super fit. You should be able to run 1.5 miles in 10.5 minutes, do some sit-ups, do press-ups, dead weight, but they train you for that, right? And then once you pass that, you do 14 weeks. Now we talk about soldiers. Remember, there are over 140 different professions available, you know, and we are the largest sort of apprentice employer in the country. And you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a pharmacist, you can be an engineer, you name it, we do it, apart from beautician or a hairdresser. But the jobs are unbelievable. And if you want a career, and that's what it is, that is 14 weeks as a soldier. Officers are 11 months, because don't forget they are going to be our leaders, and that is really tough too. You know, there are 3 terms, but it is really, because, you know, you're there training for 11 months, and then you have your pass out parade, which is the highlight of their 11 months training. So there are 2 types, and careers are second to none. You know, all I would say is, what you put in is what you get out. And it is a career. Remember, you know, I give an example. If you just join the army as a driver, in 4 weeks you can have every single driver license going.
Oh wow! Do you think I can join the army?
There's always place for everybody, and know you should be able to. We have journalists also, but you can't become a journalist directly. But there are ways to do it. We have media officers, so there are opportunities for everybody.
Oh, that sounds very exciting. Talking about military and your duties again, your responsibilities, then we talk about how to train in the military. Do you ever miss during your duties time, when you are away from your family and you're in a different country, do you miss the food? I'm going to talk about our food, because I know you speak different languages and you like all sorts of food, but I've seen you spending and looking at Asian food a lot.
I do. I mean, I'll give you an example. In the army, when I joined, there was no such thing. You were given, you know, you ate what you were given. But now, for example, we have halal, kosher, vegetarian. We cater for everybody. We have our religious spiritual advisors. We have an imam, we have a pandit, we have a gyani, we have a rabbi. So all these are in for the soldiers and officers. So we cater for everything. So it is up to the individual soldier or officer to inform their unit when they're arriving. Sir, by the way, I'm a vegetarian, I do this, and everything is available for you. We have the best equal opportunity opportunities available, because we have a system that if you are being harassed, so there are a confidential support line. So everything is there for the individuals. And remember, we're also, if you're abroad, the families are also looked after. So we, you know, a lot of people don't know, when they look at the army, it's all about going to war. But there are so many different professions, you know. Most of our people are either doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, engineers, HR admin. You know, very rarely we see many people in combat. So it's more of a career than going away to fight war. And I always tell people, say, oh, if you join the army, you're going to die. My mother always said to me, Kismet, yeah. Right? It's destiny, fate, you know. So it's one of these things.
You know, you are so right. Like you said, that when we think about army, even when you said to me, hey Layla, join the army, the first thing came in my head, why should I go? Why should I join the army? I'm going to die. I'm going for the war. So this is the perception majority of people have about army, but I'm so happy that you spoke about army, that army is not about only a war. There's a small community there, which is helping us in every single crisis. And also, like we talk about COVID and flooding, what else army can do for us?
Well, I mean, the most important thing is a career, right? This is our country. Our loyalty should be toward this country, but our heart is wherever we come from, where our roots are. And in order to make a difference, you've got to be in it, right? And to be, the way I see it is it's a career. I mean, you know, say for example, if you wanted to join the army and your mum and dad had an issue with you being a Pakistani lady and they're worried, then I have a Pakistani lady who wears a hijab, who I'll bring to your house so your mum and dad can talk to her. And if you're a Hindu, I've got a Hindu girl. If you're, you know, Bangladeshi, I've got all sorts of people that I can call on to keep the parents reassured that it is a career. And I go out of my way, you know, I will attend anything. You know, I go to weddings in uniform. It's just to tell people, look, we are part of this organization and you could be the same as me or even better.
It's so nice to hear about these things. I feel like it's a beautiful small community, not small, huge community, the different people with a different background. How many Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi people you see in army?
Well, the army is about approximately 80,000 strong, and out of that there are 1,358 Hindus, 590 Muslims, 135 Sikhs, 70 Jewish, and 980 Buddhists. So as you see, the numbers of our Asian people is very low, and we need to reflect society. And the most senior rank in the army, I would say, is a doctor, is a Bangladeshi brigadier, but there are others who are majors, lieutenant colonels, full colonels. But a lot of them are sort of in the soldier, sergeants, corporals, warrant officers.
That's so nice. I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure my audience are watching us as well. You have been awarded in the Queen's birthday as an MBE. How did you feel about that?
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a royalist. I love the royal family, and I have been blessed. I've met nearly all of them, and Her late Majesty also met her 4 times. And all I want to do was go to Buckingham Palace. And I kept asking my bosses, it does matter. And I knew I was destined to go to the palace, but when my name came, when I got a letter saying that I was awarded the MBE, one, I was so proud because obviously being recognized by other people of my contribution. And secondly, I know I was going to the palace. So I was so happy, and especially when Her Majesty, the late Her Majesty, presented me with my MBE was the highlight. And then in the same year, I managed to go to the garden party. So I got invited to the garden party. So, I always thank God every day and night for his blessings and what I do. But I'm a royalist. I love and do you remember, you've got to meet people. Don't judge people by what other people say. You've got to meet them. And that is one of the things I say. If you want to find out about the army, you need to talk to the people in the army to find out about their lived experience.
This is a very good point, because we judge people by other people's views or how they describe us, the other person, or either we believe whatever the media has said. So we already judged the person before we met the person. What is your advice for all this young generation, and including old generation like me, that we shouldn't judge people?
You're right, you shouldn't judge people. If I want to know about you, I need to talk to you, because you are the person who's going to tell me about yourself. I might talk to somebody else, he or she might give me the wrong impression of you. So I believe if you want anything in life, you need to talk to the individuals who you are, and especially if you're talking about the army, there are so many people that you can call on and they will give you good advice, because it's all about is talking to people who live the experience, not somebody who hasn't. Because if somebody says anything bad about this, I get very angry, because I have served in most of the conflicts, and the best thing about it is when you see people smiling, you're doing a good job. My best tour, if you want to say, was Afghanistan. Then it was Bosnia. People used to take me to their homes, even though they didn't have enough food, but they looked after me. And like I said to you, they became my family. And I have families all over the world.
Mr. Ashok, you speak different languages. How many languages you speak? I know you speak Urdu, because I speak Urdu with you when I'm with you.
I speak my mother tongue, which is Marwari. I speak Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati.
I'm actually counting them. And
as what?
I say I'm counting them as well.
No, but I think it's matter.
Marwari, Gujarati, Punjabi, Urdu, English,
Hindi. Yeah. So and then Punjabi is six.
Six languages now.
Yeah, but you see, what you're going to look at it is, I keep up with my language by watching TV, because I watch a lot of Asian programs.
I was about to come on that question.
I love.
Apart from military, the way we see military in the movies, 5 o'clock, get up, get out from your bed, and they're literally shouting at you, brush your teeth, comb your hair, wear your uniform, and you are out exercising. It doesn't matter if it's cold, snow, 35 degree, raining, I mean, it looks like, whoa, it's quite scary to see them in the film. I hope you're not like that, please.
No. In my days it was. Not going to lie to you, you used to get up early and you had to make your bed. You had to make sure everything, your socks were in a nice square. You had to put cardboard in it so they looked square. Your shirts you had to put paper in it so it looked rounded. So, but them days have gone.
Discipline, they were teaching discipline.
Discipline.
Yes.
A good soldier or a good human being, the first thing you should do in life is when you get up is make your bed.
Oh, wow.
Make your bed.
It's so true, because you can tell the person by looking at their bedroom. If I come to anyone's room, I'm not saying in your room, but if I go to someone else's room, if I see the bedding is like up and down, the pillows are there, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, that's it. This person doesn't belong to me. I don't want to know that person, because you can tell the person.
Yeah, and the other things I look at is shoes and the hair. Because if you polish your shoes, that's another part of discipline. You'll never see me. Sunday is my day to sit at home in front of the TV, do my shoes, and iron. I love ironing.
Can I send you my clothes as well?
When I leave the army, I'm going to get a job as an.
Yeah, that's why I can say, okay, Mr. Ashok, can you iron my clothes as well?
No.
Talking about the shoes, polish your shoes, and I hope you're not saying polish your hair. I have to hide my hair now.
No, when we say hair, we look at the way the haircut, the standards. Because remember, it's all about the image. Because when I look at a person, I look at his shoes. Because if he's done his shoes, he's polished his shoes, then the rest comes, because that's the hardest thing you do. So when you get up, make your bed. Straight away, make your bed. And when you put your uniform or any civilian clothing, make sure you've got the right crease and you look the part, because it's that image. First impressions count.
First impression is the last impression. I'm sorry, but I forgot to iron my shirt.
I didn't want to say that to you, because
it must be really nice being in a military, and you see all the different cultures, and then you celebrating Christmas, Ramadan. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Vaisakhi, is that?
Vaisakhi.
And also Eid, and then different, probably Buddhists, they might celebrate something. Yeah. It must be so nice.
It is.
Because you get to know the different religion and different cultures, you join the people, which expand your knowledge.
Yes, it does, because we, in the armed forces, we celebrate every festivities going, because we want people to understand. If you were to ask me to describe the army in one word, I'd say a family, because we have our, in our families we have our ups and downs, but at the end of the day we all stick together, and that is it. And and remember, it's all about education. We get soldiers who actually talk about their faith, their beliefs, where they come from, because it's to educate other people. Like, for example, I do a culture awareness day for potential officers, and we start off at the mandir, it's in Southall. We go to the mandir, the gurdwara, and the mosque. So people in the army understand what the rules and regulations says, what you go when you're going to the mandir, the mosque, and the gurdwara, what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. But for education, it's second to none.
Education is important for all of us, because it teaches us discipline. It also teaches us the world around us. Mm-hmm. It teaches us how to respect each other, and also it gives us knowledge. What is your message for our audience and for our young generation, and also to everyone who are watching you right now? Why education is important? Because we like to take shortcut to get onto the successful point.
See, education is very important. The better the grades, the better the job. If you get C's and above in English, Maths and Science, you can get any job in the army. And forget the army, by having good grades, education gives you a better life, better opportunity in life as a career. My advice to people is, don't judge people by the way they look. If you want to talk to people, come and talk to the individuals. And the army is a first-class career. It is not, yes, you train for war, but it is a career. And one thing I will say from the bottom of my heart, I have never regretted. If I had my life over again, I'd still join the army, because it is the best place. And I would say 3 things to join the army. First and foremost is a good sense of humor. Second, play a sport. And third one is be yourself.
That was such a good message. Time is short, and I would like to ask you more questions. Perhaps we can leave it for the next time. But in the meanwhile, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and really a pleasure to have met you.
Thank you so much for watching us today with me, your host Laila Khalid, and our guest, Warrant Officer Chauhan. Remember, never judge people by their appearance. Get to know them, and then you can make your own judgment. This is why we always fail in finding someone who can love us and someone who can be there for us. From me, Happy New Year, and I will see you next year.